In the shadowed heart of medieval Europe, where the Black Forest stretched its gnarled fingers across the land, there stood a crumbling village named Eldergrove. The year was 1348, and the plague had already begun its grim harvest, leaving the air thick with the scent of death and despair. Yet amidst the decay, a strange and haunting love story unfolded, one that would be whispered in terror for centuries to come. Lady Alina of House Vane was a vision of ethereal beauty, her raven hair cascading like a river of ink, her eyes a piercing green that seemed to hold the secrets of the forest itself. She was the last of her line, her family felled by the pestilence that gnawed at the village. Alone in her decaying manor, she spent her days weaving tapestries of crimson thread, her delicate fingers trembling as she stitched tales of love and loss into the fabric. At one fog-laden night, as the moon hung low and swollen, a stranger rode into Eldergrove. His name was Sir Roland of Dravenmoor, a knight-errant clad in armor blackened by soot and time. His face was sharp and pale, his eyes glinting like polished obsidian, and his voice carried a melody that seemed to lull the wind itself. He sought shelter from the storm, and Alina, moved by a loneliness she could not name, opened her doors to him. Their meeting was a spark in the dark. Roland spoke of battles fought in distant lands, of a life spent chasing glory, and Alina listened, her heart stirring as though waking from a long slumber. By the fire's glow, they shared glances that lingered too long, hands that brushed with a hunger neither dared voice. Within days, their bond deepened, an intoxicating dance of whispered confessions and stolen kisses beneath the manor's ivy-draped arches. But Eldergrove was not a place for love to bloom untainted. The villagers whispered of Roland's arrival coinciding with a new terror, bodies found drained of blood, their flesh pale as parchment, their eyes frozen in silent screams. The plague, they said, had birthed something worse, a creature that stalked the night. Suspicion fell upon the stranger, yet Alina, blinded by her passion, dismissed the tales as superstition. One eve, as the wind howled through the forest, Roland came to her chamber, his lips cold against her throat. "I am cursed," he confessed, his voice a velvet shroud. "A creature of darkness bound me long ago, and I feed to live. But you, Alina, your love has tethered me to something human." Tears welled in her eyes, not of fear, but of a fierce, reckless devotion. She bared her neck to him, offering her lifeblood as proof of her love. "Take me," she whispered, "and let us be eternal." He drank, his fangs piercing her flesh, and she gasped, clutching him as warmth ebbed from her body. But Roland stopped, pulling away with a cry of anguish. "I cannot damn you," he said, fleeing into the night, leaving her weakened but alive, her pulse a fragile thread. The village, however, would not forgive. Torches blazed as the mob descended upon the manor, their fear twisted into rage. They dragged Alina from her bed, her body frail from Roland's bite, and accused her of consorting with the devil. She did not resist as they bound her to a pyre, her eyes searching the shadows for her lover. As the flames licked her skin, she smiled, whispering his name into the smoke. Roland watched from the forest's edge, his immortal heart breaking. The fire consumed her, and with her death, the last shred of his humanity burned away. He became the terror of Eldergrove, a wraith of the night, his love for Alina twisting into a hunger that spared no soul. The village withered, its people vanishing into legend, until only the wind remained to mourn. Centuries later, travelers speak of a knight in blackened armor wandering the Black Forest, his voice a haunting lullaby calling for his lost lady. And on moonlit nights, they say a woman's figure appears in the mist, her crimson threads trailing behind her, forever seeking the lover who damned and saved her in the same breath, a romance carved in blood and ash, eternal in its horror.